Welcome back to WWH. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is the channel where we talk about professional wrestling, horror movies, and we look at all the ways that they intersect, connect, and everything in between. Now, before we dive into this week's weekly roundup, we got to do a little bit of housekeeping. First off, if you were a part of helping this channel reach 500 subscribers, thank you so much. It really does mean the world to me. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit that button now. Turn your notifications on so you never miss any of the action. Also, it would mean a lot to me as well if you would head over to Patreon and consider becoming a member of the WWH Universe. There's a lot of cool perks. You can even get some merchandise over there if you sign up for certain tiers. And like I said, it would just really mean a lot to me, and it helps this channel out so much. I really want this channel to continue to grow, and I can't do that without your all's help. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into this week's news. Just like last time, we are starting with horror. Starting us off in horror, we're talking about Halloween again. I know I started off last video talking about Halloween, but I want to do that again because Halloween is my favorite franchise. The original is my favorite film of all time, and anytime there's big Halloween news, I want to talk about it. I want to get people's opinions and just interact with people about the topic. And this is some big news. It's very big, actually. So essentially, Miramax has won the bidding war with A24 to get the rights to Halloween, essentially for a TV series and for the film franchise as well. Now, what could that mean? That means that they could do a TV show and then down the line do a movie. It looks like the TV show is probably going to happen first, which is fine, I guess. I prefer it in the cinema setting, but TV series is okay too. Hopefully they can come up with some really cool ideas. I don't really know what direction they're going to head, but I'm excited for it. You know, I want to see what these people can come up with. But I think the biggest reason that this news is huge is where they're kind of hinting that they want to create some sort of cinematic universe within Halloween. Now, what does that mean? I don't really know. It could just mean that the TV series and the next film will connect somehow. They'll tell linear stories. I don't really know exactly what that plan is, but there's also the possibility that they might do some sort of Michael versus Jason movie in the future. Now, I liked Freddy versus Jason well enough. It's not my favorite movie. It's not the best in the franchise, either one of those franchises really, but it's a cool concept, and I like seeing these horror juggernauts kind of just battle it out. And Michael's my favorite one, and Jason's probably my second or third favorite. I swear, I know I did a ranking video for my favorite slasher villains, but Jason and Ghostface kind of go back and forth a lot. So, you know, it changes probably every day what I would tell you in that regard. But seeing Michael versus Jason on the big screen would be really, really cool. Now, these are completely different entities. They don't really mesh that well. I think Freddy and Jason meshed well enough for it to work. Michael is kind of his own thing. Now, I understand that Friday the 13th was a complete ripoff of Halloween, and it just happened to turn into something huge. But I don't know. I feel like it could be really good and really fun, or it could completely crash and burn and ruin both franchises for the foreseeable future, and I don't want that to happen. So I think that if they do decide to go that route in the future, and that's probably a ways off because we don't know what's going on with the Friday the 13th film rights at the moment yet. That's still being worked out, and it probably will continue to be worked out for quite a while. I don't know. We haven't really gotten any news lately. We know that they're wanting to do another Friday the 13th movie and that they're in talks to do it, but we haven't really got any concrete news on that subject. What do I want to see from Halloween? Well, if they do the TV series, I don't know. I feel like the TV series angle doesn't really work for Michael very well. I think if you're going to do the TV series, I would rather it be like the anthology thing. Do the Season of the Witch storyline, remake that if you really want to. But it's going to lose a lot of the luster, a lot of that shock factor that made that film so good, in my opinion. If they do decide to use Michael in the TV series, it's going to take some very, very good storytelling. And I'm not sure how well that's going to transfer to the small screen. And as far as the next Halloween film, I would like to see just a completely new story. I don't think you really have to bring back any legacy characters or continue any old storylines. I think you can, essentially, I guess it will be a sequel to the original, and if that's the route you're going to take, because you can't really have Michael without that original taking place. But I think there's a lot that can be done. I think you can set it, maybe set it in the 80s instead of 1978. You could bring it forward a little farther than, I don't know, but you can bring Michael in and introduce a completely new set of characters with their own backstories, with their own problems, and have Michael go on a rampage through all of them. I think that is the best option, and that's what I really want to see. I want to see some actual new life breathed into this franchise. I know I was a big fan of the David Gordon Green trilogy, but there was a lot of storylines that were retreaded. They were retold, and like I said, I just want to see some actual new life brought into the franchise. So with all of that being said, let me know down in the comments what you want to see in the future of Halloween. Do you want to see Michael and Jason battle it out on the big screen? Or would you rather them both just kind of do their own thing and Jason get his TV series and then a movie in a couple years? Do you want to see Michael in a TV show, or do you want to see him stay on the big screen? Like I said, let me know in the comments exactly what you feel about that. Now, moving on to our next piece of horror news. Blumhouse has basically come out and said that even though Exorcist Believer has not performed well at all, I still haven't got a chance to see it, so I can't really give an opinion on it completely. But I know that it's not doing well. It's not making a lot of money, and it's not being reviewed well. Very few people I've seen say that they actually really enjoyed the film, so I don't know. But Blumhouse has said that regardless, they're still moving forward with the sequels. However, they may be reworking their original ideas. Now, this also happened with the Halloween trilogy that David Gordon Green directed, of course, because of the pandemic, and they had to just, rework some of their storylines. So that looks like the direction that they're headed with the Exorcist Believer now. There's also rumors that David Gordon Green might not even direct the next two sequels. I don't know. Maybe he's got some other projects that he would like to take a look at. Maybe he's just sick of people just bad-mouthing the movies. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen the film, so I can't really say too much about it. But I don't know if it's the best move to keep going with this franchise at this point. I think maybe you should just let sleeping dogs lie and leave it alone. I don't really think it needed another sequel in the first place, but like I said, I will definitely check it out at some point in the future, and then I can give some more direct thought on the film itself. But I think it's interesting that they're already almost in scramble mode. They're almost in panic mode, breaking that glass. You know what I mean? They're kind of freaking out and saying, we got to rework this stuff and possibly bring in a new director. So who knows? I don't know what's going to happen, but it's definitely interesting to see this turn of events. All right, now let's switch over to the professional wrestling side of things. First off, let's talk about Edge in AEW, or should I say Rated R superstar Adam Copeland. It's going to take some time to get used to calling him Adam Copeland instead of just saying Edge. But, I think it's pretty cool what he's done so far. I thought his match with Luchasaurus, it was okay. It was kind of like a filling out match. It was like he was filling out the new style, just kind of getting used to the environment. It's a completely different environment than WWE, and that's not a bad thing. It's just different. But I do think that his promo work has been really good. Seeing him and Christian Cage in the ring together, love it. They're one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Both of them make my top 10 favorite wrestlers list. And like I said, it's just cool to see them together, and I want to see them work a program together, and that's kind of what they're doing. It's like he's, almost said Edge again. Adam Copeland is working through people and trying to just inch closer to Christian Cage to finally get that match. And what I think is going to happen is they are going to have their one-on-one match, which Adam Copeland's probably going to win, as he should. He should. But after that match, I think that they inevitably will team up and possibly even win the AEW Tag Team Championships. I think that's a pretty good storyline to tell. That's a pretty good angle to run with. And they've both still got enough gas left in the tank to make that happen. They're both very talented. I think Christian Cage is one of the most underrated professional wrestlers of all time. And this heel work that he's doing right now is some of the best heel work that I've ever seen. And it's crazy that you have two just amazing heels in one company, and they're both as hot as they've ever been at one time. Now, obviously, MJF is kind of leaning more into that babyface side of things, but he's, like he says, he's a scumbag, but he's our scumbag. It's amazing to see the level of work that these two are putting in, and I want to continue to see Adam Copeland get closer to Christian and finally take him down a peg and then team up with him. So that's what I want to see out of that. Let me know what you think of Adam Copeland and AEW so far. I'm really glad that we get to still hear Metalingus every time he comes out. That song is just synonymous with him, and without that song, I don't think it would feel quite the same. But like I said, let me know what you think about his AEW run thus far. Our next topic is going to be the possibility of LA Knight taking on Roman Reigns. Now, it's probably going to happen at Crown Jewel because I think Survivor Series is going to be another War Games match. Now, whether Roman is involved in that War Games match, I don't know. He could be, or they could kind of just go the other route, doing Jimmy and Solo and a couple other heels teaming up to take on, Cody and Sammy and Kevin and Jay. That's the direction it looks like it was going to go. Obviously, Kevin Owens is now on Smackdown as the other part of that trade, which is probably going to lead to Sammy and Kevin Owens being in a match at WrestleMania this coming year, which I'm excited for. I think that's going to be a really good match. They both always put on a freaking amazing show when they're in the ring together. And another thing that happened on SmackDown was Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns were face to face, and they kind of just had that little stare down, that little silent moment where they just looked at each other. And that was confirmation to me. That was them telling everybody, telling the world that we're playing the long game here. We're telling a very long story, but we're coming back to it. We're going to come back to Cody taking on Roman for those championships. And whether it's at WrestleMania 40 or 41, I don't know. It could be either one of those, depending on what a certain Mr. Dwayne's plans are. So we'll see what happens with that, but I really like that was, like I said, it was just a really nice moment, and I really like when we get those things like that just, it makes, as a fan, it makes you feel invested in a storyline, and you know that they haven't forgotten about that storyline, and they're going to keep referencing it, they're going to keep going back to it, until we finally get to that epic conclusion that, at least me, that I've wanted ever since Cody set foot in WWE. Okay, our last topic for today is going to be the appearance of Nick Aldis on SmackDown as the new GM. Yeah, he's an authority figure, but the dude is so talented. He's an amazing professional wrestler. He's got a great mind for the business, and I really think that he brings a lot to the table. And, of course, he's only 36 years old, so there is a possibility that, down the road he gets in the ring and does something, some sort of match or something like that, which I think is a good idea. But if he doesn't want that, then I really think that this role is perfect for him. I think he's going to do great, he's going to excel, and he's going to bring something new, a different type of energy onto SmackDown. And that's always, as a fan, what you want. You want things to remain fresh. You want them to feel new and exciting, and like Simon Miller says, make you feel all warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum. So if that's what he brings to the table and that's what he wants to do, I'm all for it. You know, his match with Cody at the original All In was really good. It was a fantastic match. The storytelling in that match between those two was phenomenal. It was off the charts. And I think he, like I said, he has a great mind for the business, and he can continue to bring that kind of imagination and creativity and storytelling into the WWE. And obviously they have a lot of faith in him, or they wouldn't be putting him on air in this role. So I think that that's going to be so cool to see where they go from here. But that is the end of this week's weekly roundup. Let me know down in the comments all of your thoughts about any of these things. Let's have a conversation about it. You don't have to talk about all of them. You can pick one topic, tell me which one's your favorite, and we'll have a conversation. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn your notification bell on, leave a like, leave a comment, and head over to Patreon to become a member of the WWH Universe. We're going to be jumping back into the Universal Monster Month series in just a few days. But until then, my name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is Wrestling with Horror.